What is going on Twitter, dude? Twitter is insane, dog. Twitter is so psychotic. I don't even know what to say anymore. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say anymore. I'm saying it. Israeli soccer fans attacked on eve of Kristallnacht anniversary. So I will say this much. This morning I woke up and I listened to the NPR Daily. Big mistake. Okay. It was so annoying. It was so goddamn annoying because NPR spent like 7 minutes talking about the hooligan story. And like the first 6.5 minutes was specifically about how, you know, all of these officials, all these Dutch officials were like, this is the Holocaust. Like, I can't believe we let the Holocaust happen again. This is literally Kristallnacht. Verbatim, by the way. That is not even an exaggeration. The Dutch king was like, this is Kristallnacht, right? You're saying it as if you on the Daily. It was so annoying. Oh no, it wasn't. It was NPR's Up First that I was listening to. They were like, oh my God, Holocaust 2 happened in Amsterdam, right? And you already know what the actual details of the situation is. But like, because we covered it extensively yesterday, and I'm obviously going to have to cover it again because like it's driving media discourse and I haven't seen anyone course correct on this at all, which is really frustrating. Okay. But like 6 minutes of like, this is literally the Holocaust. Jews are under attack everywhere. I can't believe that like the Israeli ultra nationalist soccer hooligans who were doing hate crimes, like all over the streets of Amsterdam, have a right to defend themselves, and people don't actually see it as such. What the we need to send the B-52 bombers to The Hague. We need to destroy Amsterdam. Whatever. I'm exaggerating. But like something along those lines, right? And then at the end of the coverage, in the last like 30 seconds, they were like, and as a reporter on the ground, I talked to some of the locals who actually mentioned concerns about how the Israeli hooligans had started the entire chaos and were beating people and ripping Palestinian flags off of buildings. Last 30 seconds was the actual journalism. The rest of it was just the Dutch king said it's the Holocaust 2.0. Like, and I was like, dude, you need to get your broadcast license taken away. Okay. That's right. I said it. Donald Trump is right. Broadcast licenses now. Okay. I'm taking it away. It's crazy, bro. You're quoting a monarch. What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? Like, this is insane. NPR is true centrism. That's the thing. So Americans read it as leftist, but it's global centrism. It's grossly both sides. No, that's not both sides, man. Both sides. Okay. Both sides are not the same in this situation. If you were to do a both sides are the same type situation, which I personally did, okay, when I originally covered it, I was like, it's a soccer hooligan shit. Like, it's a soccer hooligan shit show. There are going to be racists on both sides of that situation. There's going to be anti-Semitic people on one side, and there's certainly going to be, you know, Islamophobic people on the other side. Sometimes there's going to be anti-Semitic people on both sides. It's soccer hooligans. Like, have you never seen ultras? Like, what the? There's like 8 total clubs out there that have anti-fascist soccer hooligan franchises outside of like 8 total in the entire planet. Virtually every single soccer hooligan franchise is unimaginably right-wing. And it's like, it's not your standard hooliganism. Yes, it is. Even on the Maccabi Tel Aviv side, it absolutely is like the same. What are you talking about? Italians throw bananas at their black players, dude. What do you mean? It 100% is the same. The only difference is there is a government currently doing a genocide, and these guys are like flexing that genocide. Like I was telling you yesterday, the Times was working overtime to course correct after the real facts came out. They originally had the story on the Express desk, which is like the quick hit throwaway, non-deep dive stories. Then it blew up as the New York Times top brass tried to save face. They were editing the story all day yesterday, but it's like a gross instance of like journalistic misconduct to just pop off and be like, they did a Kristallnacht. Oopsie. Turns out we were defending some of the most racist, some of the most vicious soccer hooligans of all time. There is no equivalent in this situation. Like, there's nothing. Like if Russian neo-Nazi ultras, soccer hooligans from Russia were roaming the streets of Europe and talking about how they're going to kill Ukrainian babies, okay, and flexing how much they've killed Ukrainian babies, and they got their shit packed up after trying to beat on people in some random European city center, everyone would be celebrating it. People would be like, oh, look at that, dude. Can you imagine? There would be puff pieces about the Ukrainian hooligans that actually fought back against the Russian hooligans, regardless of their political opinions. You know what I mean? And they literally made it seem like it was a pogrom. I hate that. Dutch person here, worth mentioning that Amsterdam is a leftist student enclave, and Geert Wilders has been calling the mayor to step down for weeks before the hooligans. Yeah. I think it's ridiculous. Like, New York Times, whenever there's a story that is like even tangentially Israel related, I feel like New York Times just shuts off its brain, dude. I don't understand it. They'll be like, oh, this is like somehow related to Israel. Okay, well, time to just be bad at our jobs. It makes no sense. It's so stupid. It's not just like dropping the ball altogether. And you guys know I have much love for my New York Times journalists, friends out there, including but not limited to some fellow photojournalists in the chat, as you may have noticed. But overall, it's like, you can't turn into the New York Post when it comes to Israel, okay? That's insane. You're the New York Times. And every time it is an Israel-related story, the New York Times turns into the New York Post, okay? It turns into a goddamn dish rag. It's crazy. It's unacceptable. And it also plays a significant role in people losing faith in mainstream media. Losing faith in mainstream media at a time when it is necessary for people to actually not lose faith in mainstream media. Oh my God. Yeah. By the way, here's the 15-year-old Dutch reporter who actually was reporting on the ground and got threatened by the Israeli soccer fans, the Israeli fascist pieces of shit. Okay? These are ultra-nationalist neo-Nazis. Okay? That's it. That is literally what they are. It is so shocking that people still cannot see it. Anyway, the media is directly complicit in this genocide, but also directly responsible for the 2,000 plus spike in Islamophobic hate crimes domestically, often not even against Muslims or Arabs, but people orientalized like Mexicans and South Asians. Yeah. Anyway, this 15-year-old's a far-right influencer? Wait, really? Okay, well. Yeah, the Maccabee supporters picked up metal pipes, put on masks, and started chasing after people. Sky News uploaded a balance report and Amsterdam hooligans took it down, re-uploaded an edited version more sympathetic to the Israeli hooligans, saying the previous one didn't meet journalistic standards, then deleted the new version, uploaded a third edit, still no explanation of what journalistic standard was violated. That's incredible. Dude, what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we trying to make every single person in the Western world be like, oh my God, like there is this incredible level of control? Is that what's going on? Like, do you want people to become anti-Semitic? Are you actively trying to get people to believe what Nazis say all the goddamn time? It is very, very frustrating. I hate this shit. Like, this is just simple manufactured consent. That's what it is. But most people don't track it as such because most people don't apply materialist analysis to things. They have an idealistic understanding of the world. So when people have good-bad dynamics and an idealistic association with what's going on, they look at this and they think, okay, well, you're presenting this as like sectarian differences, a religious conflict. Then yeah, I'm going to think that like Jewish people are responsible for it. That is not the case. Manufacturing consent and obviously pumping a shitload of propaganda at the behest of a foreign ally against a ethnic minority that is usually portrayed as the violent, vicious, barbaric hordes invading the nation state is actually so perfectly in line with the agendas of all of these mainstream outlets. But when you bear it like this, when you lay it out like this, on the one hand, you're obviously successfully antagonizing against Muslims and immigrants as a whole, right? Which is usually the purpose of this kind of coverage. But also on the other hand, for a lot of people, you're making it seem like, you know, this is Jewish people that are controlling the media. And when there's so much unexamined anti-Semitic attitudes that people already have that they just never check, and then they see this shit, you're just pushing them further into the throes of fascism. And I despise it. And I find it abhorrent. I find it morally repugnant because you're it up on both sides of the equation, because not only are you radicalizing people against Muslims, but you're also radicalizing people against Jews as well, at a time when both Islamophobia and anti-Semitism is skyrocketing, okay? I hate this so much. We are going down a very scary path, okay? We are going down a very scary path. It is tremendously, tremendously bad. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it one bit. I watched Dutch mainstream media change the narrative from both sides are wrong to it's a new pogrom and anti-Semitic hooligans were targeting innocent people. Yeah, we'll do yeah, this happened 2 months ago in Israel and it wasn't talked about. Israeli football fans attacked Palestinian fans with sticks. No, dude. The Maccabi Tel Aviv like hooligans are apparently notorious for pulling like this off, but it's not that shocking, okay? I need you to understand something. That is the least surprising thing of all time. Oh, wow, a far-right football club went and did insanely racist shit, and then on the other side, the people went back and beat the out of them. Shocking. It's not shocking. I'm being sarcastic. It's the most normal bi-weekly story in Europe. Every week this happens. Why is it now a massively consequential mainstream narrative? Because at every moment that you're talking about this shit is a moment where you are not paying attention to what Israel is doing in Palestine. That's it. Here, I'm going to give you a great example of like how normal people who aren't inherently and automatically anti-Semitic find themselves in the throes of anti-Semitic tendencies as a consequence of shit like this. Okay? Here. This is Theo Von. Theo Von is not necessarily like a bad dude. I don't think he's like an ideological Nazi. Look how this normal conversation between Theo Von, one of the top podcasters, okay, versus Joe Rogan, the top podcaster, plays out.
True. Yeah, it's not true. Well, why? I don't understand why left-leaning media, which is mostly Jewish, are calling people white supremacists, dude.
Jewish? Did you just say that?
Yeah, I just don't understand.
Left-wing media is mostly Jewish?
I mean, according to my Jewish friends, it is, you know? But why do they hate white guys?
It's just woke thing.
That is just normal combos now, okay? And for the record, if you've ever talked to a normal human being outside of like one of these big cities, one of these major cities that I live in, that you live in, yeah, that is like low key what the people say all the time, okay? This is a thing that people think, okay? And every time Israel does some shit, okay, and says we're doing this for Judaism, and then, you know, they say if you criticize it, you are anti-Jewish, and then the media pumps this propaganda directly to every marketplace for every older person that goes, oh my God, the anti-Semitism is out of control. You have like 11 people who go, well, goddamn, I think Jews do control the media. What the f is going on? Okay, I don't understand it. Even if they agree, even if they're like, yeah, it seems like anti-Semitism is out of control, but also we're always talking about these dang Jews, you know, that's what happens. That's what happens. How do you expect a guy in Arkansas to look at the situation and constantly see this shit and be like, and not lean into the pre-existing underlying anti-Semitic tendencies that they might have? I feel like I'm going crazy. Equating the far left with Judaism, where have we heard that one before? Yeah, I know. A classic. And I can't begin to explain to you. Like how, like, people will get mad at me for saying this. Okay. People will get mad at me for saying this, but like Theo Von, I don't think is like a well-read neo-Nazi hiding his ideological framework, right? Like, I don't think this conversation between Joe Rogan and Theo Von is like two Nazis who are like, ooh, like, let's be sinister and sneaky. Like, it's just a dumb dude, one, trying to be funny. Like, he's not hiding his power level. You know what I mean? That is just straightforward. He's like, yeah, I think these Jews in the media hate white people. Like, that's straight up what he thinks. It's coworker talk, yes, but I don't expect coworker conversations to be like, well, you know, we should rise up against our masters type shit, okay? But you don't want your coworker conversations to also, you don't want your coworker conversations to be like, man, these Jews sure hate white men, right? What the is that about? Like, that is literally just complete normalized neo-Nazi sentiment. Why is it anti-Semitic that Jews own Western media? They actually do. We see examples of misdirection and misinformation towards real facts concerning Jews all the time. No, dude. No. It is anti-Semitic to say Jews own Western media, because they don't, okay? It's WASPs that still very much own Western media. It's WASPs. They still love Israel, and they will also cynically say certain things are anti-Semitic if they're anti-Israel, but it doesn't change that reality. It doesn't change that dynamic. Their goal, for the record, and by the way, that chatter is literally proving my point, okay? Their goal in the media, in mainstream media, in the Western world, is to prop up America's allies, okay? Is to go along with America's foreign policy. So the cynical weaponization of anti-Semitism, okay, against all things Israel related is no different than openly going along with Colin Powell claiming that there is, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Okay, that's it. And now do it with Hollywood. It's the same principle for Hollywood too. This is what a lot of people refuse to comprehend. Okay, if Jews controlled the media, or if Jews controlled Hollywood, then they wouldn't be screaming about anti-Zionist Jews on a daily fucking basis. Okay, Jonathan Glazer, who is the son of Holocaust survivors, made a movie about the normal existence of Nazis right next to Auschwitz. Okay, it was fantastic. It was gruesome, but it was incredible. It was an incredible movie about how people can just refuse to reckon with the violence that they're subjecting others to during it's not just the banality of evil, but it's more so just like how people turn a blind eye to horrifying atrocities, right? The name of the movie was Zone of Interest. Jonathan Glazer got an Oscar for this movie. And in the process of getting an Oscar for this movie, he stood up there on stage and said, I do not, as someone who is a descendant, of Holocaust survivors, I cannot stand by and see and allow my Judaism to be weaponized in defense of Israel doing a genocide. That's what he said. Everybody clamped on him, okay? Not only are Jews not of one mind, okay, no matter how hard Zionists try to tell you this, which is really annoying, okay, that's not a thing. I mean, the oldest joke is, what is it? Like 2 Jews, 3 different opinions? Isn't that what the meme is? Okay, the entire principle behind the analysis of the Talmud is debate. Okay, there is no single unifying attitude in any marginalized community, let alone Jewish people. Okay, it's very stupid. But not only that, but also, if there was some sort of monolithic defense of Israel, or some sort of like extra control that Jewish people had over the media or Hollywood, you wouldn't have anti-Zionist Jews getting arrested left and right. You wouldn't have anti-Zionist Jews getting called anti-Semitic and smeared left and right. Okay, that's not how this works, which is why I have consistently maintained the position that if every single American Jew turned into an anti-Zionist tomorrow, America would still support Israel. Why do you repeat this so often? Because it's important to recognize, because it's the truth, and because I'm worried, I'm fearful that the more this kind of stuff happens, the more people find themselves in the throes of anti-Semitic opinions. I don't want that. There are always new people coming in and out, and I need people to understand, because anti-Semitism at least historically, has been the canary in the coal mine of fascism, okay? Which is why I am extra careful and extra critical of institutions like the ADL cynically weaponizing something so severe in defense of an apartheid state committing a genocide. Anyway, I also repeat this kind of stuff so that you can repeat it to your friends, because I know that this exact conversation or many different variants of this exact same conversation is probably happening with your coworkers on a regular fucking basis. So my job is Trump won, eat shit. Trump won, eat shit. Okay, nice, man. My job is to give you the tools, to equip you with the tools to adequately defeat these kinds of arguments with your friends, with your coworkers, make and articulate these positions, okay, so that you can ensure that they do not go down this devastating, terrifying, anti-Semitic pipeline. I had to have this convo with my dad, who has never met a Jewish person his entire life. Your talking points directly help me explain it to him. Yes. Oh, weird how the Trump guy gets aggro when we're talking about anti-Semitism. Yeah, it's really funny for me that like Trump supporters who are anti-Semitic themselves and even like anti-Israel will be like, oh, he's just going to be different, I think, on Israel. Like, I promise. It's like, dog, he got $100 million from Miriam Adelson. The f- are you? You're so stupid. You're the dumbest of all time, okay? I mean, we already knew that, though, because you are anti-Semitic. So I take your takes all the time. It literally makes the people around me happy. Good.
Media, which is mostly Jewish, are calling people white supremacists, dude.
Jewish. Did you just say that?
Yeah, I just don't understand.
Left-wing media is mostly Jewish?
I mean, according to my Jewish friends, it is, you know? But why do they hate white guys?
Theo Von is such a, like, he has such a good way of, like, taking something that is, like, completely unacceptable and just, like, saying it in a way where, like, saying it in a way where it is so not antagonistic and so coming from a place of ignorance, and so casually that like it almost comes across as like if I heard anyone else say this shit, I'd be like, what the bro, are you a Nazi? What do you mean Jews control the media and they hate white people? Like, Jews are white, dog. What the what are you saying right now? Especially in America. It's not like you're in Israel. Like, you probably have never even met, like, I mean, unless you're in Los Angeles, like, you probably have only, if you've ever met a Jewish person, they are Ashkenazi, okay? What the like, I thought he was saying the media hates white people. Yeah, he's saying the media hates white people, and the media is run by leftist media is run by Jews who hate white people. That's what he's saying, which is like doubly psychotic. It's doubly Nazi. Can you explain what a WASP is? WASPs are white Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
It's just woke things, man. It's just virtue woke bullshit. It's like
I just don't understand it.
Well, because true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's good that Theo Von is saying anti-Semitic shit with Joe Rogan, just not pushing back at all. Yeah, see, people are like, it's the anti-Semitic shit in the room with us. Like, this is straightforward, okay? And I'm saying this as someone who likes Theo Von. I think Theo Von's like, you know, he has his moments. Like that right there is 100%, like, that's a massive W for the neo-Nazi movement in the United States of America, okay? When you got a guy like Theo Von who now, like, is repeating those talking points on Joe Rogan in a way where he's not even like he's not even aware of what he's saying. So he just says it so casually in almost like a disarming way. There is no greater moment for anti-Semitic people than this, okay? It's the casual ways in which you can just openly demonstrate anti-Semitic sentiment like that, okay? That is when you get your coworkers to also tap in on this type of shit. You cannot normalize this stuff. This is not good. Oh my God. I do feel that in the last year that people conflating Zionism with Judaism has increased dramatically. A guy sent me a literal list of Jews in the Soviet Union as proof Zionists control the world. That's the funniest part. That is like scary, but it's also kind of funny because they're just like looping back around to do the Judeo-Bolshevism arguments while simultaneously being anti-communist. Like that's the funny irony of like Israel defenders who are themselves like obviously some of which are definitely anti-Semitic, others who are not anti-Semitic, who are terrified of anti-Semitism, turning around and doing full fash arguments of like, instituting a McCarthyist Red Scare propaganda against commies, right? Like that shit is a 1-to-1 with what the Nazis were doing. Okay, yeah, I saw this, and that's why I thought it was really funny. Yeah, I don't think it's good that Theo Vaughn is saying anti-Semitic shit with Joe Rogan just not pushing back at all. If telling the truth is anti-Semitic, then I guess you can call me Hitler. What is going on Twitter, dude? Twitter is insane, dog. Twitter is so psychotic. That's like I don't even know what to say anymore. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say anymore. We've just like lost the plot. We've lost the plot in its entirety, brother. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 por Dios. Yo voy a votar por Donald Trump. There's also a version of this where they just use Zionists instead of Jews. Zios control the media, etc., which is obviously still anti-Semitic. Yeah, that is, again, a conflation between Zionism and Judaism has muddied the waters, which is why I usually will be extra careful and considerate when talking about this. Because when people, you never know when someone is saying like, oh, Zionists control the media. I'm always like, like, I don't think you mean Christians. I think you're talking about Jews. Like, that's a problem. You know what I mean? And it also comes from that, like conflation, straightforward, straight up. When Kamala said we're not going back, I didn't expect this back. No, it is so 2016. What is this? Bro, what the shit? They call us Nazis as if it's an insult. It's an honor, to be honest. Oh my God. Oh my God. As seen on InfoWars Fox News. This person was on Fox News. Yeah, we went back to 2016, but in many ways, we also went back to like 1934. How do you have a coworker conversation without coming off like you're just being a number one commie? I mean, the greatest way to do that is always to utilize my techniques of being like, why the f- are we spending billions of dollars in war overseas when we got 600,000 people that are sleeping outside? Okay. Like, that's insane. Fix the damn potholes. Give me better broadband. Give me better internet. It's so stupid that we're just doing this shit. I hate that. Like, yeah, people don't realize you're talking about socialism, communism unless you say the words. Yeah, exactly. I think it's a real ACA Obamacare moment. Okay, always remember that. People love the ACA. People hated Obamacare. ACA is Obamacare. So just talk about the positives and then work them through the steps always. Okay? Never forget. People love being able to stay under their parents' insurance until the age of 26. People love the fact that insurance providers can no longer deny you coverage. Also, this in the response to the comment. Okay, can we just stop? I don't want to see this shit anymore. Stop sending me this shit. Stop sending me Nazi pose with like 3 likes, dude. Come on. I saw a tweet where someone said their brother was fine with Obamacare being repealed because he used the ACA amount. That's what I mean. Bernie Sanders in 2003, worth a watch. I mean, I've seen this so many times, but here, you know what? Let's just do this for the one time, all right?
The party do so good. And now I'm going to tell you something that very few people in Congress would tell you.
My goat. Still.
If you are the Republican...
He's my goat still. We might have our disagreements, but, you know, I still love him. I will never forget his contributions to the progressive movement broadly in the United States of America. He will always have a special place in my heart, okay? You got to respect your elders, chat, and myself included in that process, by the way. I am your elder at this point. It's a little self-serving of me, an old guy, to say such things, but I mean it.
Listen, leadership, and this is what your goals are. Your goals are to give huge tax breaks to the very richest people in this country. Your goals are ultimately to privatize Social Security so that Wall Street can make money from that. Privatize Medicare so the insurance companies can make more money. Privatize education. Do away with public schools. If those are your goals and you said that to the American people, you think you get a lot of lower. There are many members of the Congress today, Republicans, who not only will not raise the minimum wage, which is $5.15 an hour, you know what they will tell you, honestly? They believe in abolishing the minimum wage. Did you know that? Check it out. Telling you the truth. So that if Americans can work for $3 an hour or $2 an hour, not a problem. Now, if you had an agenda like that and you went before the American people,
I gotta pee.
Tax breaks for the rich, destruction of Medicare, destruction of Social Security as we know it, lowering the minimum wage or abolishing it, how many votes do you think you'd get? Not a whole lot. Maybe the richest 1% would vote for you. But that's not a lot of votes. So what do? Got a problem. You package it. How do you package it? And here's, I want you to pay attention to me. Because this is bad stuff. I don't mind debating people who say, I was on a Hannity show, Sean Hannity yesterday, and Hannity, extreme right-wing guy, he thinks he loves these tax breaks for the rich and so forth, so we had a little bit of a discussion about that. Actually, it was a loud discussion, matter of fact. But I don't mind people who are upfront about that. Okay, give the rich more tax breaks, we can argue that. But that doesn't win you elections. So this is what you do. What you do is divide people up. When you asked me your question, how do I get elected? I said, I try to bring people together. We fight for women's rights. We support the rights of minorities. We support the rights of workers. We bring the majority of people together. And occasionally, honest people will have differences of opinion. In this room, there will be differences of opinion. But everybody in this room is in agreement that everybody should have health care, right? Question number 2, should we increase funding for education or should we lower funding for education? Raise your hand if you think we should increase funding for education. Okay, you're on the side of the vast majority of Americans. Okay. So on those issues, we bring people together. Now, what do the Republicans try to do? And they use it in what we call, kind of language that they don't, not upfront about. What do? We divide people up by races. Affirmative action becomes one issue. All them black people are getting the jobs that we white people used to have. Split people, working class, white against black. Instead of working together to create decent jobs for all. Those uppity women now, they want the right to choose. We'll split people on the abortion issue. We'll split people up on the gun issue. We'll split people up on religious issues. Do you follow what I'm saying? So you split people up, and then they end up, if you're a middle-class person, voting against your own interests, and the rich go laughing all the way to the bank. Okay? And they very often play white workers off against everybody else. And we try to bring people together to say, look, we're all in this boat together, whether you're black or white, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're Muslim, whatever you may be. Everybody needs health care. How do we create a health care system that works for all people? Not divide people up. Everybody knows that the kids, young people, do not make it into the middle class unless they have a decent college education. So how do we make college education accessible to all people? Not an expensive proposition, a tiny, tiny fraction of the president's tax breaks for the rich, if we put into financial aid, would make sure that every young person in this country could go to college without going deeply into debt. You know what? The vast majority of the people support us. But in order to do that, we've got to bring everybody together. And many of these, not all, and I'm not here to disparage all Republicans. Some very decent people happen to be conservative. I respect that. But some people who I don't respect will play off women against men, black against white. Oh, the gay issue, very, very big issue. Okay?
If you want to be right and too early, be a leftist. Okay? That's it. A lot of people will yell at you, but then maybe many decades later, people will look back fondly at the things you said for decades. Okay? People will look back and be like, this seems like oddly prescient.
Straight against gay.
Of course, being right too early is, in many instances, being worse. I mean, it's worse than being wrong all the time. Being right too early, in many instances, is worse than being wrong all the time. You fell off. I know I fell off big time, dude. It's Jover. My career is Jover. I need to do a right-wing pivot instantly. I'm going to start talking about how, like, I'm going to start watching Tyler Oliveira videos and agreeing with them and finally cave and become a right-wing content creator. It's over. It's done.
Right? We're all supposed to hate gay people, so we split that group up. And then the argument, some of us are not patriotic. We had concerns about the war in Iraq. I voted against giving the president authority to the war in Iraq. Well, that makes us unpatriotic. We hate America. Divide those things up. And that's how they succeed. And they succeed with the help of the media. Because the media will not talk about how, in a sense, the common problems that Americans face and how we bring people together. And that's what I believe. I believe that on issues like everybody in this room thinks, I think, that instead of giving tax breaks to the rich, we should increase federal aid to education. Anyone disagree with that? Well, you know what? Most Americans agree with that. All of you think that every American should be entitled to health care. I suspect most of you think we should not have a trade policy which allows corporations to throw American workers out on the street and run to China. Most Americans agree with that. And our job is to bring people together on common interest. And some of these extreme right-wing people, you watch the issues that they talk about. Affirmative action.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to watch
divide.
this video.
The issue of abortion they use to divide. The issue of guns they use to divide. And our job is to say, let's focus on basic economic issues. How do we expand the middle class? This is a great country. Why is it the average American is working longer hours for low wages than 30 years ago? Let's talk about that. Okay?
Amsterdam local here. We're organizing a protest tomorrow in protest of the protest ban, and the municipality has instituted how NPR is contacting us to hear our perspective on it. Do you think we should talk to them? Yes, absolutely. Talk to them. Don't be antagonistic. Be clear in what your goals are. Maybe even mention the fact that, like, a lot of mainstream outlets unfortunately got the story wrong, and that the locals' opinions is not being represented, you know, something along those lines. But yeah, always talk to the media. I do it all the time. Any opportunity I have, I usually, in my insanely limited schedule, every opportunity I have, I still will always, I'll always stop and try to give some commentary, because I think it's important. I think it's important to be, I think it's always important to get your message out in front of an audience that has not heard it before. Okay? Mention the total editorial spins like the Sky News re-edit and the hive mind like condemnations filled with disinfo by liberal order world leaders. Yeah, don't say liberal order world leaders. Just be like, you know, we went out, we saw that these like hooligans were wreaking havoc, and people, of course, understandably pushed back against that. And it was kind of shocking to see how at odds Western press has been with like what actually unfolded. I always explain to people, like, know your audience, okay? Know who you're speaking to. Try to imagine how your message will be received, okay? Trojan horse your radical positions, if you know what I'm saying. It's your responsibility as the largest content creator on the left to grow much more than the 400 right-wing creators ahead of you. Yeah, but you always have to package it. And it's always funny because, like, I am very open about this. I'm very open about, like, you know, constantly messaging to an audience and like knowing how that message will be received, which is why so many people will try to bastardize what I'm saying or clip it out of context in general. But the thing is, like, ultimately my radical goals are Medicare for all, free college, and end the wars globally, you know, uplifting the working class internationally, allowing everyone to thrive. Like, these are not, I don't think that these are nonsensical, bad positions. The very fact that these positions broadly are considered evil or radical means that we as a society have completely dropped the ball on basic empathy, basic humanity. That's what it is. Because when you go to the extreme right Like their position is literally, we need to forcibly exclude certain subsects of society and divide society on inalienable characteristics, traits that they cannot change about themselves, whether it's like religion, ethnicity, yada, 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 right? And maybe even forcibly expel them. On the extreme left, or at least where I'm standing, my positions are, my radical positions are that we have to protect every single person and that we have enough wealth and enough power to do so. But unfortunately, we are controlled by a system, that we exist under a system that refuses to do said things because of financial material interests of those who are at the tippy top of society, and a system that preserves their position. That I don't think that is like a super radical position. I don't think that that's a super radical, super scary position in the way that people try to say it is. We put the interests of corporate profits over the interests of people. I'm seeing stories like this all over the place. I don't know how to get Bernie/leftist message to people and make them believe it. Did you vote? Yes, for Trump. Not trying to get my taxes raised. You're a hostess at Outback. I mean, this seems like a meme overall, but yeah, there are a lot of people who think that way. Yes, there are a lot of people who think that way. American brains are broken. American brains are completely broken, okay? Progressive politicians take the L for trying to shove gender affirming care into the schools. Yeah, dude, I too like to imagine a world that is not happening. Gender affirming care into the schools. Like, dude, I don't even know how old you are. I doubt that you are. I doubt that you have children, but I have these conversations so much. And it's like following the scientific consensus on harm reduction that is, what the medical scientists have decided is the best way forward is probably the best thing to do, right? It's just like are you pro children committing suicide? Like, I don't understand. That's like a very weird and very radical position. 32-year-old Reddit mod. Do you at least acknowledge that Medicare and free college could serve the people in charge of them more than they actually serve the American? It's a very real possibility. Wait, what? Trans kids have the highest suicide rates. Yeah, because of idiots like you. And secondly, what? Medicare and free college could serve the people in charge of them more than actually serve the American people? What are you saying? Serve the American people? Or serve the people in charge of Medicare for all? What do you think is going to happen when you get free healthcare, when you have free college education, like all the way up to college and trade schools, that it's going to somehow harm you? Like you're going to be educated and it's going to suck? Like what? Medicare already is the most popular existing socialized medicine structure in the nation. It's the most popular healthcare in the nation. Okay, Medicare, it exists and people love it. Okay, it's not benefiting those in charge of it. I don't even know what that would mean. Unbased.